Hi, welcome to this quick how to help video on drawing straight line graphs. They're also referred to as linear graphs, so you may well have heard them, and they are part of the y equals mx plus c topic. Now we're going to learn how to do the straight line graph, both positive and negative, in this quick how to help video. Obviously, if we're working on a coordinate grid, it means we're going to need coordinates. And actually, that's the biggest part of this particular question, getting the coordinates in order to draw the line itself. So if I was to ask you to draw the graph of y equals x minus 4, our first job is to get the coordinates. That comes from a table. Now, sometimes they give you the table and sometimes they don't. So we're going to do everyone from scratch, so you know what you're doing when you have to do it from scratch. The top row of my table are my x coordinates and the bottom row is y. In a GCSE situation, they will tell you the range of x values to use. We're going to go from -2 all the way to 2 in this example, and actually throughout the video, just to keep things simple. Okay, so I know my x values. They're always given to me in the question. It's the y values that I have to work out. They are telling me in the question at this point here how to work out the y values. It says y will equal whatever the x value is, take 4. So I'm going to work my way backwards. I don't have to. I'm doing it backwards because these are positive numbers, and positive numbers are generally easier to work with than negatives, and I'm always going to take the easy option if I can. So my x, take 4, is the rule here. That's the rule to get me y. X is here in my table, and every single one of these numbers is the number that x could be. So right here, x could be 2. So I'm going to change my x to 2, -4, 2 minus 4 is -2, and that is the y value when x is 2. The table is telling me that x could be 1. So here, I'm now going to change it and say x is 1. Now 1 take 4 is -3. And if I repeat that again, here, the table is telling me that x could be 0. So I'm going to change the x to 0, take away 4. And I should, at this stage, be starting to notice a bit of a pattern. This is just going down 1 each time. So I'm not going to waste my time doing any more maths when I can see clearly what's going on. So I've got -2, -3, -4, -5, and -6 as my y values. So where are the coordinates? The coordinates are in the table itself. Coordinates are always along the corridor. So along the corridor, which is my x value, and then up or down the stairs, which is my y value. So you can see up and down the stairs is my y value. So coordinates are created like that. So when I take a look at my table with my x and my y, those are my coordinates. There's my x and my y. So I'll use a little bit of a highlight. This one here would become 2 minus 2. This one here is going to be 1 minus 3, and so on. Just put a little dot there. I'll use that table of results to put all my crosses onto my graph. So I've got 2 minus 2, so I've got 1 there, and then 1 minus 3, 0 minus 4, -1, -5, -2, -6. So that, and you can see They're all lined up, aren't they, in a beautiful straight line. If there wasn't a beautiful straight line there, then something's gone wrong, either in my maths over at this stage or in my plotting over at this stage. I see so many times the coordinates not actually joined together, like people stop there. It does say line graph, and we must draw the actual line itself. So I'm hoping this will come out with a nice straight line for us. There we go. And that is y equals x minus 4 between -2 and 2 on the grid. Okay, I'm going to show you that again without quite so much explanation, just so you can see smoothly how it's put together. And then we'll do a negative one just to see how that looks. So here we go. We're going to, we'll start from scratch on the table. We're going to do 3x plus 1 this time. So I've got my x, my y, and then -2, -1, 0, 1, 2. I'm choosing those numbers if you're wondering where they're coming from. In your GCSE, you will be given those numbers. My rule for working it out is going to be 3 times whatever the x number is plus 1. So let's go for it. Here, x is 2. So 3 times 2 plus 1 is 7. So 7 is going in there. Here, x is 1. So 3 times 1 plus 1 is 4. Do the 0. 3 times 0 plus 1 is 1. And again, hopefully we're starting to see the pattern. These numbers are going down 3 each time. So if I just take away 3, I'll be at -2, and then I'll be at -5, and it just saves me a little bit of work. Okay, just saves me a little bit of work. So I'm going to plot these. Now remember the coordinates. Okay, so for this one here, the coordinate is 2, 7. So I'm going to go 2, 7 and plot it. The next one is 1, 4. We then had 0, 1. We then had -1, -2, -2, and -5 is here. And again, I'm feeling confident. They look like they're in a nice straight line. I would get my ruler, line them all up, and fingers crossed, they go through the points perfectly. Okay, so those are 2 examples of positive straight lines. Positive, they're going up. So we're going to see what happens when it's negative and it goes in a downward direction. Just before I do, I'm just going to show you one little thing, just because I think it's interesting. Okay, if I could produce a staircase from the coordinates on each of these lines. So for example, I could go up. Oops, is it going to let me? Let me try again. Here we go. I'm going to go up and across to that coordinate. I'm going to go up as far as I need to and then across to that coordinate. And you can see I'm making like this perfect staircase. It's quite a big staircase. I've got to do a big jump up every step, but it's a staircase all the same. It's in perfect equal steps. I'm going to do the same on this one. Okay, I'm going to start it here, going up. I only have to go up 1 before I need to come across. Up 1 before I come across. 1 before I come across. So the staircase on this one is a lot shorter, be much easier to climb. You can also see that the steepness here is lower. So my step's lower and the steepness of my line is lower. Here, my step is much bigger and it's a much steeper line. It's being influenced by the number here. This line is y equals 3x plus 1. And it's this 3 that you can see here. It's going up 3. It's going up 3. Whereas this line was y equals x take 4. is going up 1. It's going up 1 because it's got 1 x there. I don't want you to necessarily dwell on that, but there is a big part of this topic about gradient and steepness, and that's kind of the initial idea that starts us on our journey of gradients within the topic. So I thought I'd pop it in this video. Okay, let's clean it all up and just do a negative one, just so that you can see there is actually nothing to worry about. You don't change a thing just because it's starting to feel a little bit harder. So let's say we've got minus 2x plus 6, for argument's sake. So I've got to create my table. So we'll do the same as before. A bit longer. My rule this time is minus 2 times whatever the x is plus 6. X is 2. Remember, I'm just going to the end where the positive numbers are to make my life easy. So minus 2 times 2 plus 6. It is harder because I've got that negative and I don't want to make a mistake with my negative numbers. Minus 2 times 2 is minus 4. Add on that 6 and I will end up at 2. And then I will put in minus 2 times 1. Minus 2 times 1 is minus 2. Minus 2 plus 6 is 4. Minus 2 times 0 is going to be 0. It doesn't matter that it's negative. Anything multiplied by 0 is 0. Plus 6 is 6. And hopefully, before we hit the negatives, we can see the pattern. So I don't need to start thinking about how much harder this maths might be getting. I'm just going to follow that pattern through. And then I can plot the graph. So I have got here the coordinate 2, 2. So 2, 2. And then I've got 1, 4, 0, 6. I've got minus 1, 8. And then my minus 2, 10 is kind of falling off my grid, isn't it? So I won't actually plot that one. I'm going to draw the line up. Oops, I hope that's going to work, not too wibbly. I'm a little bit off there, aren't I? You would not want to be off. I'm going to try again. You would not want to be off when it comes to your actual exam or assessment. We want to be as accurate as we can be. Oh, I'm still not perfect. There we go. That's not too bad. Okay, so drawing straight line graphs. The key is being able to recognize the rule in the piece of algebra that they give you and have the confidence to set up your own table to get those coordinates. So hopefully that has been helpful. There is another video on drawing other types of graphs, so like quadratics and cubics and things like that. So do check those out if you'd like to see more about graph drawing. Thank you for taking the time to use Target Maths to help you with your studies, and hopefully we can help you again in the future.